Good afternoon.
Ma'am, good
Good
afternoon.
afternoon, Anna.
Am I audible?
Good
Am I audible?
afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
We have good afternoon and all.
Sir, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, ma'am.
Welcome, sir. Welcome to the second half of the session. We begin
Thank
with
you,
you,
ma'am.
sir.
Yeah.
We have gathered here to attend the two days today's National Innovative Practices for Data Documentation of AQAR and SSR. Let's start our session with warm welcome address. I would like to invite Mr. Jnana Velaidam sir, Head of the Department of Commerce with Computer Applications, to deliver the welcome address, and chief guest introduce for Dr. Deepak Nanaware, Professor and Head, Head of the Department English, DAV, Velankar College of Commerce, Solapur.
Good afternoon to all. It is great honor for me to welcome all of you to the second session of NAAC sponsored 2 days national workshop on innovative practices for data documentation of AQAR and SSR under revised assessment and accreditation. Now I cordially invite our Principal Dr. D. Venkateswaran, Vice Principal Dr. K. Sivaramurthy, IQAC Coordinator Dr. P. R. Suganya, and IQAC Assistant Coordinator Mr. R. Vishnu Sangar sir. On behalf of our Rajapalli Rajas College, IQAC and myself, I would like to convey my hearty welcome to our resource person Dr. Deepak Nanaware, MA, SET, MBA, DCMJ, PhD, Professor of English and Head, Department of English at DAV, Velankar College of Commerce, Solapur, Maharashtra. Welcome you, sir. It's immense pleasure to introduce the resource person of second session, Teaching, Learning and Evaluation, Dr. Deepak Nanaware. He is the Professor of English and Head of the Department of English, DAV, Velankar College of Commerce, Solapur, Maharashtra. He is the Trustee of IQAC Cluster of India, having teaching experience of 24 years at UG and PG programs. He has guided 9 students for PhD degree and 8 are currently working under his guidance. He has worked as the member of Board of Studies in English and a member of other statutory bodies of PAH Solapur University, private universities and various autonomous institutions in Maharashtra, and a member of RRC Homi Baba State Cluster University, Mumbai. He is a writer of 22 reference and textbooks, delivered expert sessions at national and international seminars on English language and literature, delivered sessions as the resource person for more than 550 seminars, webinars, workshops, PDPs on NAAC revised SSR and AQAR filing process, new education policy, and quality enhancement and benchmarking issues in higher education institutions organized by HRDC SPPU Pune. Delivered sessions as resource person in webinars and FTPs organized and sponsored by SPD, RUSA, Maharashtra, MSF, DA, and NAAC Bangalore. He is the resource person of IQAC cluster with a special focus on learning outcome, writing, mapping, and attainment. He also conducted academic and administrative audit AAA of departments of Shivaji University, Kolhapur, and colleges affiliated to Dr. BAMU, Ahmedabad, PAH SUS, Solapur, Karnataka states. Mentor higher education institutions for preparing NAAC, SSR, and NBA assessment and accreditations, and also conducted mock peer team visits. He is involved in content development for various programs as per UGC guidelines, translator, column writer, and soft skill trainer. He is the recipient of 3 Best Teacher Awards and reputed organized and recognized by the teacher leader as a selected participant speaker of the first National Teacher Congress 2016 at MIT, Pune. Once again, my heartfelt welcome to such a resource person. Welcome you, sir. Finally, I invite one and all online and offline participants. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I would like to call upon our chief guest, Dr. Deepak Nanaware, to deliver the topic on Criterion 2, Teaching, Learning and Evaluation. Welcome, sir.
Sir, you have to unmute.
Yes, I unmuted. Good afternoon. Am I audible? Hello?
Yes,
Am
sir.
I
Yes,
audible?
sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. First of all, I must express a word of gratitude for the host college, Rajapalayam, Raju's College, Rajapalayam, for this NAAC sponsored two-day national workshop on innovative practices for data documentation, not only for SSR, that is self-study report, which we are supposed to prepare after every 5 years, and simultaneously on AQAR. The second part is rather, I would rather say, it is consistently been updated. That is assessment and accreditation, methodology, simultaneously the manual that has been prescribed. Because all of you are aware that from 1st June, there was a change for affiliated and the constituent colleges from 93, 96 metrics. We were reduced to 55. And now, once again, those who are going to apply for assessment and accreditation after 1st Jan 2023, there is going to be manual with 56 metrics. In Criterion 2 itself, there is a slight change proposed. So once again, thank you very much for inviting me to have interaction, dialogue, and a say on a very important criterion, that is Criterion 2, which is dedicated to what you call a very core function of any educational institution, that is teaching, learning, and evaluation. My dear friends, I must not forget IQAC cluster coordinator, Badrunasa ma'am, simultaneously, who has been actively involved into this, principal, honorable principal, and simultaneously organizing a committee of the college for giving me an opportunity. So now let us move on to the topic that we have gathered over here. Before I start with, I do remember one of the saying or the statement made by one of the speakers, where I was one of the participant speakers, that what is the costliest thing that cannot be valued at all on the planet Earth? And that is nothing else but time. Time, neither it can be purchased nor it can be used in the retrospective manner. What exactly I'm trying to say? All dear teacher friends, you might be principals, you might be coordinators, you might be IQAC coordinator or directors or IQAC personnel. Let me promise at the outset that believing that time is very important or crucial, I promise you that whatever time we are going to spend over here, it is not going to be wastage of your time, because I don't have any right to kill or waste your time. With this seriousness, one or two just initial say, or what you call ground rule of my presentation. See, this is called as an workshop. It should be differentiated from one-sided delivery, that is a seminar mode. So what I expect is that I have kept my chat box open. So wherever you feel like interacting with me, you are most welcome. You are most welcome. You may mute, unmute, you may present your say. Simultaneously, there is a possibility that you might have some kind of question or some kind of clarification requirement, which I'm supposed to. You may do one thing. That you may just go on giving, go on giving your say on chat box also. You may type your question, and simultaneously uh, we will interact. Remember, I love to agree to disagree. Okay, so with this thought, let us focus on what has been expected from our institution, from any institution, when we go in terms of Criterion 2. What is it? So my presentation outline would be: one, I'm going to give you an overview of assessment focus of Criterion 2, what exactly is expected, what NAAC has in mind. Simultaneously, I'm going to tell you about the distribution of all the key indicators. Now, you might be known, or now you might be well acquainted with the concept of what you call what is key indicator, what is metric. Okay, then what is quantitative and qualitative. Then one by one, for AQAR purpose, and simultaneously for SSR purpose also, what is the documentary requirement from this particular criterion. Because remember that out of 1000 marks, second criteria carries 35% of the weightage of complete report. SSR report means 350 marks are solely dedicated to this particular criterion, and that gives us a seriousness, or that makes us to, or compels us to understand its seriousness in terms of responding with what you call great care. And then finally, if there is any query. Now, sir, the first important point I would like to focus upon is that the what criteria focuses on. As the title suggests, criteria title suggests, it deals with teaching learning practices. It deals with not only teaching learningness, but simultaneously what are the different types of pedagogies. Then what is our mechanism as such. So what NAAC has expected is that first, effort of the institution. Efforts of the institution in what terms? In what, say what sense? One, that during our admissions, whatever admission strength is sanctioned to us, how our institution plans for inducting or admitting students from different background. What kind of background? Means let it be academic background, let it be economic background, or social background. So these different backgrounds, how these different backgrounds are addressed, and simultaneously how we see to it that different students of different abilities also, are uh, are into it. And we have established our mechanism of admission for different capacities, which I told you, that background, let it be gender background, let it be social background, let it be economic background, or capability, what you call capability type of background, through effective teaching learning experiences. Now the second aspect that NAAC deals with is that when students are inducted in classroom, because classroom is considered to be our processing ground. So classroom environment, how student is actively involved into teaching learning process, instead of rather lecturing, instead of one side. Because as a teacher, I may love lecturing, but as a student, I may not love to listen to lectures consistently. And UGC also has proposed this, that let us make student an active learner. And this is what the concept is, that NAAC expects how institution is instrumental for interactive instructional techniques, that is pedagogies, that engage students in higher order thinking. This particular concept we are going to discuss when we are going to discuss the outcome OBE concept, or outcome based education concept, in 2.6 key indicator. But till then, just remember that all levels of teaching, or all types of teachings, are not of any single level. There are multiple levels, starting from memorizing to creating something. Highest level of what you call the acquisition of knowledge, that student is able to create something, student is able to evaluate or analyze something. That how our teaching methodologies or pedagogies are leading students to higher order. We are going to discuss that. Then who does this? Everywhere does this. Who is there in important element in the classroom or any laboratory? That is teacher. So how much teacher is qualified, then how many students are allotted behind every individual teacher. That is what is teacher student ratio. Then how teachers are competent to use ICT tools for teaching learning means, it means what is their qualification, how far they are techno savvy, and most important, remember that we are discussing this particular criterion at the threshold of implementation of new education policy 2020, because new education policy has suggested tremendous changes. Because I have been working on it, I have already gone through the different reports. Let it be the report of the central report of the committee established under the chairmanship of Honorable Dr. Mashelkar sir, or let it be state government report or recent UGC document regarding that. It all focuses on how comprehensive learning experience or experiential learning or participative learning experience, problem solving methodologies are given. So these are the aspects that are being going to be expected from our side. Then techniques used to evaluate performance. This leads us to think of the what you call evaluation. Remember, examination is one part, evaluation is other part. So when it comes to evaluation, do we use our evaluation tool, only one evaluation tool, or do we follow multiple evaluation tools based on the requirement of checking its outcome? As a teacher, I keep some objective, but from students' point of view, I try to frame some outcomes after studying this particular paper, what my student is going to get. And I try to measure based on the examinations or evaluations that I conduct at a certain periodic interval or certain period, and then I try to judge whether the outcome is attained or not. And then most important is that how far your percentage of student passing percentage is, and then student satisfaction survey. So here goes the statistics related to this particular criterion. Total weightage from criterion 2, from SSR point of view, I'm going to deal with the AQAR also, because AQAR aspect is going to be the period of which you are submitting the AQAR. So document will be restricted only to the particular academic year. But for SSR, all of you know that mostly 5-year documents are required. But wherever there is a requirement, I shall explain that in which metric, in which question, only 1-year documents are used for filing SSR. So coming back to the point, that 350 marks are divided into 7 key indicators. And in these 7 key indicators, there are total 11 metrics. That is 11 questions in simple word. Now, quantitative metrics where committee is not going to verify, that is quantitative Excel-based responses, which will be finalized or approved or given score by the data DVB partner through online evaluation. And there are 4 metrics which will deal with the committee responsibility, that is what you call peer team. So what is the focus? Now, division of 350 marks is in 7 key indicators. So you can see there is no key indicator, not a single key indicator below 40 marks. There is no key indicator below 40 marks, means 2.1 to 2.5. All the 5 key indicators are meant for 40 marks. Let it be student enrollment profile, teacher-student ratio, teaching learning process, then teacher profile and quality. Also evaluation process and its reforms. So all these 5 key indicators are 40 marks each. But now its quantum increases in 2.6, where student performance, that is passing percentage of students, and deciding or designing outcomes and checking attainment of outcome is meant for 90 marks. And finally, 2.7 is the result of what you call a result of whatever you have done, whatever you have tried with the students, how far they are satisfied. That is SSS, triple S, student satisfaction survey, which is meant for 60 marks. So this contributes to 350 marks. Now let us turn our attention or divert our attention to every metric. We will discuss all 11 metrics individually. And how I shall read out the metric, requirement of the metric, and what are the documents that you are supposed to fill in. Okay, so I shall be giving you what standard operating process require says or demands. So the first 211 is average enrollment percentage. If you are filing SSR, data will be required for all the 5 years, and this metric is meant for 20 marks. Remember, 211, 2.1.1 is very important metric, because if your admitted seats strength is challenged, it is going to affect naturally to minimum 15 to 16 metrics, different questions from different criteria. Suppose, such as it will help, it will disturb the reservation percentage, that is 212. It will disturb the question related student computer ratio. It will also disturb student teacher ratio. It will also disturb number of students admitted or number of students taking benefit of your certificate and value added courses. It will also disturb your result percentage. So all such allied questions will be disturbed. So while you decide, suppose it is for year 1, so what are you supposed to do? Suppose you have a say BCom program. BCom is considered to be a single degree. Program is a degree. Then it's code. I'm moving my pointer. Please take attention. So program code. Year 1, say for example, you are preparing now your SSR now. Year 1 is 1819. 1819. How many programs, degree programs you had? Don't say only BSc, because you might be having permission for BSc with number of multiple subjects. It means finally you are giving, say for example, BSc physics, BSc mathematics, BSc with chemistry. In the same way, BA also, BA English, BA sociology, BA political science. So if you have that particular degree for 3rd year or final year, it can be, it needs to be added separately as a separate program. Okay, so there will be a name of the program. You will write all the program wise list in the Excel sheet. Then if the university has given the program code, you may add the same, or you may create the program code at your level. So for that particular program, what are the number of sanctioned seat? So which year? Previously, colleges used to say upload the data of 1st, 2nd, and all the 3rd year. Means all the years. Suppose if it is a 2-year degree, then 2 years data was represented or given over here. But remember, according to new SOP, only 1st year data is supposed to be given. How many seats were sanctioned for the 1st year, and how many students are admitted in the 1st year? Suppose you have sanction of, for BA, 120 students. As a supporting document, you will have to attach, you will have to keep ready the sanction letter of your respective university. If it is in regional language, you will have to get the translated version and simultaneously attach with the original letter, and you will have to write over there the translation of the letter of so and so sanction, and highlight the number, name of the program and the number. Then as a proof of admitted student, you will have to submit the list of the admitted student for that particular program. Program-wise, you will have to repeat the same thing for all the programs, all the years. So this particular table, 50% of the table, you can see my pointer, that 50% of the table is used here only for only this particular metric. That as a proof of admitted student, prepare a list of the student, serial number, name of the student, class, date of admission, simultaneously roll number or enrollment number, and get it certified by the principal. So this is the requirement of 20 marks for this particular metric. Now we move on to next 20 marks in the form of 212. It is also quantitative metric. Now it has some kind of continuation with the previous metric. Table is merged. Remember, 211, a data template, is also merged with 212. That is the question which is displayed on your screen. The same data template is being used even for your extended profile also. So the same Excel sheet is going to be repeated with this particular aspect. Shweta ma'am, I have received your question. The question is, sir, can you repeat the document? Document, I said, if you are writing the number, go give sanction letter, student strength sanction letter of each and every program that you mentioned for your first year. Secondly, list of the admitted students certified by the principal. So this is what the question and your request. So let us move on to the next metric, that is average percentage of the seats filled in against the reserve category, and categories are mentioned as per underline, that is applicable reservation policy. Now, in continuation with, now suppose for example, I had told you as a sample that under this program, I had told that 120 seats are sanctioned for me. Now, there is a government of India GR, every state government GR, and also university forwards the data that how 100% seats are have to be divided by or divided under the each and every reservation category. Shital ma'am, I'm going to give response to your answer. Let me explain the question. Let me explain matrix first, because already you have asked the question and I'm supposed to answer that query. Okay, automatically you will receive the response of the metric. So now move on. I told you that as a sample, you have written that 120 seats are sanctioned. Okay, now 120 seat sanction will have to be divided under this particular area, that is seats earmarking. Earmark means you have reserved those seats for that particular category. Now usually, what is it according to Government of India? 13%. 13% of 120. Write the number, how many you have reserved. Again, SC, ST, 8%. OBC, calculate according to rule. Right? Number of seats reserved out of total reserve, and then how many seats are, how much percentage is reserved for the general. Now others I shall explain what is that others. Okay, but let me, after filling in this particular column here, you will have to write, actually you will have to write number of seats admitted under that reserve category. Suppose you have written that SC is 13%. Out of 120, suppose you have reserved some 107. Out of 113%, that is 17 seats, or say 16 seats. So 16 are earmarked for SC, and you have given admission to maximum 60, 15, 1, whatever is there, you will have to write number, and do not merge data of all the 5 years. Separately, year-wise, program-wise. I said year-wise, program-wise data has to be given separately. Now, this is what this will show you that this will reflect that how much percentage of the seats are reserved for students from different social and economic background, and how much exactly percentage we were successful to. Now, if you are a minority institution, usually minority institutions have 50% reserve, 50% is reserve quota for the students belonging to the minority status category. You will have to use the other column. In other column, write your 50% seat. Suppose, for example, out of 160, you have written, 120, you have written 60 seats are reserved. Against that category, how many students have been admitted? So the list will be given, and for remaining 50%, institution may follow the same procedure. And what would be the document required over here? If you are not minority, then government, let it be central government GR, university circular, classifying category-wise reserved seat as per government applicable policy. It means GR. It may be a state government, highlight over there. Again, one common rule will be followed, that is the regional letters will be translated into English and presented over here along with the original version. So now, sanction seat earmarked you have given. But now, like in the previous metric, what you had done, you had given the list of all admitted students for all the programs. So here you will have to split that list category wise. It should tally totally admitted student. Means 100, if 100 students are admitted, how they have been bifurcated under this category. But only care is that suppose you have earmarked 1/6, that is 16 students, 16 seats for SC category, and you are showing that 22 students are SC, software will not accept it because it crosses your earmark. Because it is stated that the students, different category students, if they are admitted, against other reservation or as open, other reservation or crossing the earmarking, it will be treated as open. It will be treated as open. So here you cannot go on adding the number beyond 100% of the earmark seat of that particular category. So once again, the government GR reflecting percentage wise, and simultaneously Divyangjan later also how much percentage for Divyangjan is given, and then list of the admitted student actually classified or separated under every category. So if you are a minority institution, you will have to attach minority status declaration letter along with your other document like list of the students admitted, and this will serve the purpose of this particular criterion. Now, this SSR on AQR format has been made very easy now. How? Say for example, 2 to 1 is meant for single metric is meant for 40 marks. NAAC is very instrumental that colleges are not overflowing with the students with major number of teachers. Because practically in many institutions, what I have observed is that student 1:1 behind one teacher. Many a times there are more than more than 100 students, 80 plus students. So usually AICT presented differently, that 1:15, 1:20, then NAAC, RUSA 1:25, 1:30. So beyond one teacher, how many students are there? Now, which teacher, he should be a full-time teacher. Who is called as a full-time teacher? A teacher who is employed, or teacher who is given the workload of minimum 90% of the workload of full-time. I repeat, a teacher who is given a workload of minimum 90% of the workload of a full-time teacher. Then he is called as full-time teacher, and he must be appointed over the period of that particular academic year, minimum 90%. Okay, minimum 90%. So do not consider here for part-time teacher, ad hoc or visiting faculty. What is expected? There is no data template or Excel sheet for this metric. I will tell you how to fill in. First of all, how many students were enrolled in the institution? Now, if you are filing your SSR, data of year 5 or the latest completed academic year, it has to be given. Suppose, for example, you have given that 1,200 students are inducted or admitted in our latest completed academic year during that year for all the programs. This will tally with 211. Remember that it's their year 5 list of the admitted student. It will be tallied with the 212 and simultaneously here also. Now, how many full-time teachers were there? Suppose you write 20. So 1050 is your admission, and full-time teacher is number of full-time teacher is suppose 50. Now you will have to insert those values in the tab, and below that you will have to submit the documents of it. What type of documents? One, if you are claiming that you have had 50 teachers full-time during that particular academic year, on letterhead of the institution, prepare a table. Letterhead of the institution, prepare a table, and the table will mention what? Table will mention one, name of the college, academic year. It will highlight the title like full-time teachers on the roll during academic year so and so. Then serial number, name of the teacher, designation of the teacher, departmental affiliation. Okay. So give the list of the full-time teacher. If you claim that 50 full-time teacher along with their departmental affiliation. So this certified list, simultaneously second certified list will be list of all the students during that particular year. Now, if you are preparing your SSR, sending your SSR in 211, you had given the list of complete all the 5 years. You will have to cut that, or you will have to select only last year list, or SSR duration, AQR duration list here certified by the principal. One first document I told you, that is list of the all full-time teachers. Second document, list of all the enrolled students. They will, their number should tally. And what you can add one more document, that is appointment orders of the teachers, those we have shown as a full-time teacher over here. So this will help to score or to get the percentage, that what is the student teacher ratio, what is the student teacher ratio of our institution, and according to benchmarking, our institution will be given number as such. Again, this 231, this metric, which is the first qualitative metric of the criterion. It is meant for, again, 40. Single metric is meant for 40. You may score very high over here. What are we asked about? That is student centric method, what you call different pedagogies or different teaching methods. Now, if you go through the report related to the revision or restructuring of all the programs from 3 year to 4 year and the committee reports, there new education policy stresses on not the passive learner, student as a passive learner, but student as an active learner. Okay, student as active learner. How, what means student will be actively involved in the classroom environment or classroom situation. Now, how we are going to do that? How are we going to consider? Here, NAAC has asked us to clarify or regarding or explain within 500 words how do we practice experiential learning in day-to-day teaching methodology. Then how do we practice participative? How do we practice problem solving methodology? And how do we participate or use ICT tools, not only traditional tools, but ICT tools for generation of the different, what you call ICT based resources. Try to understand difference. One, ICT tool, and second, ICT resource. Okay, so how far teacher as techno savvy, we are going to discuss one by one. Let us come to, if you are going to claim, you may ask that what does it mean to be experiential learning? Basically, experiential learning is simplistically, it is called as learning through experience. Means student practically experience it. But then that's why when they experience something, they form their own reflections after doing something. If they are there on the field surveying something, if they are there in the laboratories, or arts faculty people may say that we don't have any such practical as such. But say, for example, take example of political science. There can be, if they study what is parliament, they can have a mock, they can be given experience of the parliament at their organizing through the organization of events like say mock parliament, which is directly or indirectly is nothing else but role play situation. So you may enlist these activities, that internship program where there is a connection between, or what you call bridge platform is established between whom, between academia and industry. And new education policy has insisted now this particular aspect, that students of all the faculties are required to undergo different internship, different research projects, field works, on-job trainings. So these are the areas you will have to highlight. What was the activity? Who participated in the activity? What were the outcomes of the objectives of the activity? After completion of the activity, what were outcomes, and who had, and who, when, how, where, for what, activity was being organized, you will have to prepare that particular document, notices, list of the student, if they have submitted the report, then report and everything. Okay, so these activities starting from the which I quoted earlier, that is mock parliament, socio-economic survey, or any research break activity where students literally or practically experience something and then they prepare or then they learn. Now, second type is participative learning, where it is also called as peer teaching or active learning or group work or cooperative or collaborative. What does it mean? You can see on the screen, intentionally, I have pointed out some of the photographs, like student seminar. Student is actively involved. A group of students is being discussed with the concept by their peer, that is their colleague. Then student has some idea or develops some idea, frames according to his own idea. It is presented in some model or chart in presence of some demonstration or the model or chart or some kind of equipment, and students are trying to impart the knowledge or giving awareness, that first they understand and then they discuss or explain. So it is basically a group work, or what you call cooperative learning. They work in collaboration, which may be your group activities organized for your students. They may be student seminars. They may be model chart or preparation or some kind of equipment preparation or organizing workshop by the students. So you can enlist these activities under this heading. And most important is that problem solving. This is called as a higher order of learning. Higher order of learning, in a sense, they are able to understand the problem, they are able to analyze the problem, they are able to evaluate the problem, and they are able to create solution, form a solution on the problem, which is in the form of, you might have organized the case study situations, real life based problems solving sessions, or class to class. And the area that is added over here, because other metric has been merged to this metric for 40 marks, that is learning experiences using ICT tools. Now, I told you that tool is a different. Tool is the software or hardware that a teacher or a person use for creation, for transmission, for preservation, or demonstration of resource. Means resource is what you have created using different tools. So here, while you present, you will have to enlist what your teachers use. They may use Google Class. They may use some your LMS, which is prescribed by your institution. They might have used different software such as the Studio, Digital Studio, Camcast-O-Matic, then different softwares for creation of the PowerPoint presentation, blogs, not only blogs, but along with that, they might have used the YouTube platform or your institutional website platform, or as I told you, that LMS paid or free aid. So you will have to prepare a list that a teacher, name of the teacher, what were the ICT tools used by him or her, and then what were the resources generated. Now for resources, you may give links of those resources. You may give link of the PPTs uploaded on institutional website or any other website for onto public domain, or YouTube link, or any the blog link, or any resource link. And there, within 500 words, you will have to explain what were the activity. I repeat, under experiential participative problem solving and ICT tools, you will have to present the list of the activities. What was its objective? When was activity conducted? What outcome attained? And then how many students or how much percentage of the students gained through this particular activity. So all the activity reports are required as a supporting documents, including if it is supported with the photographs or the reports prepared, it is well and good. Qualitative metrics will be judged by the peer team committee. Now in 241, which is a quantitative metric, QN, what is given for 15 marks, average percentage of full-time teachers against sanction post. Now already I have explained what do you mean by full-time post. Now, those colleges, uh, those who have been working or enjoying status as a granting aid colleges, their full-time posts are being finalized by the government agencies. Government finalized it. Okay, but remember, if you are self-financed or although you are affiliated, there is a possibility that you might run some programs, some degree program, which are not grant-in aid programs. They might be self-finance program. Means some institution might be running only grant-in-aid, some institution mix, that is grant-in-aid plus self-finance, and some private institutions might run only self-finance programs. So in this case, or with this situation, what you will do? If you are grant-in-aid plus grant-in-aid only, use the SIT sanction or the post-sanction letter issued by the government. If you run simultaneously self-finance along with those sanction letters, your institutional level appointments can be made to run the self-finance programs. How, for example, suppose you run BCA, Bachelor of Computer Application program, which is self-finance. There, in tune with governmental policies, what is the minimum workload required to be known as the full-time teacher post? According to you divide different metrics. You divide different metrics, and those metrics are being divided. Under different categories. Okay, this is one thing. Second, if it is self-financed approval, you will have to get the permission from your management. Principal has a written letter requesting the available workload and the SIS to be filled in for that particular year, and the grant permission of the management is required. So this is called as a year-wise. Year one, suppose for example, how many seats are sanctioned and how many full-time teachers are actually working. Suppose, for example, you have shown, I told you that 50 full-time teachers are working, but your approval was for 52 teachers. So 52 teachers sits post-sanction letter. Along with that, if you are showing that number is 50, simultaneously, you will present the year-wise list. Okay, year-wise list of the teachers on the roll. There is some kind of background noise, somebody is speaking. Can you please mute so that others will be able to listen? Thank you. Let me go back to the point I was trying to explain. Vijay Kumar sir, can you please mute? Yes, thank you very much. Okay, so the point I was trying to mention, that if you are showing the list of that 50%, 50 student teachers were working or were on the roll during that particular academic year, give the list in the similar manner which I told you in 2:1, that is student teacher ratio. Now student teacher ratio was meant for only 1 year, that is latest completed year. The same list you will be same 550 year list you will use there also in 2:1, but here you will attach the list of all the 5 years, and simultaneously do not forget to give the appointment letters translated into English, original plus English version, certified English translation. So this will cater to the requirement of this 15 marks. Now Sheetal ma'am has again asked the question that since there are no recruitments from government, if the institution appoints full-time faculty for the same granted program, how to handle this data? All right, I can understand your concern, but this is specifically situation not only in the single state, because I'm also in Maharashtra. I know that since 2013, 2014, there is no recruitment as such. But now to compensate this, if your institution decides that they are recruiting them on the at institutional level with institutional financial support, if they are giving additional the substantial payout, and if they are appointing a full-time teacher, NAAC would like to see that how many full-time seats you have sanctioned and how many have been actually approved or actually working on your at your institutional level. Okay, so this is what that institution has to decide now, that how do they appoint, and if they appoint full time, whether they will be able to sustain the increased amount. Okay, this also needs to be considered practically level, very factually or ground to earth. I'm trying to explain the concept. Now coming back to the 242, that is quantitative metric once again, that percentage of full-time teachers with these different qualifications have been stated. Now remember that one point I missed over here, that NET, slate, PhD, DM, and DNB, but I forgot to put, extremely sorry that it will not be visible on the screen, but here remember, the teachers with set net, either state eligibility test or national eligibility test, their point has also been added over here. So please grant me to correct orally 242, that is net set is also being expected over here. So whatever number of teachers, full-time teachers you have shown on the roll, how many of them are PhD? Yes, it is there, net set and slate also. It is there, I have typed. Okay, so how many teachers are net? How many teachers are in? So you will prepare a list. Again, you will use the previous list. There you will add the highest qualification. Highest qualification. Now suppose I am a set also and I am PhD also. One head, one count. If my highest qualification is PhD, my name will not be reflected in as a teacher with set. So one teacher, one count. Do not give two different. Do not give two different designations of only one teacher. Okay, so enlist those, and you will have a data template over here. And already I have stated on the screen, you can read that this data template is a now part of the extended profile, which is you are supposed to fill in. Their extended profile called sheet number 2.1a will ask the highest qualification of the teachers. And as per the benchmark required, you will be judged for 25 marks. Remember, teacher quality or teacher highest qualification is going to help institution for 25 marks. So this is what the 2.1a is. What is it? Name of the teacher, Aadhaar number, it is not mandatory, email is mandatory, gender, designation, date of the joining of the institution, and then nature of appointment. He may be full-time, temporary, full-time for that particular academic year, which department he belongs to, and what is his qualification. But if we claim the qualification, what would be the documentary support? List of all the teachers showing their qualification certified by the principal, along with that Excel sheet filled in. And one most important is that if you are claiming that degree of the teacher, attach degree of the teacher over there, all the documentary proofs of that particular degree. It means the degree certificate will be required over here. It is must, mandatorily it has to be uploaded. Now what is it? 2.5.1, that is qualitative metric. In 500 words you will have to explain what is mechanism of internal and external assessment. One. Secondly, how the mechanism is transparent. Third thing, how you have designed your grievance mechanism related to exam in terms of time, frequency, and efficiency. So first of all, previously in Criterion 1, Shah sir might have told you that there is academic calendar prepared, right? In academic calendar, CI, that is continuous internal evaluation points are mentioned, but simultaneously you may write that you have examination committee or evaluation assessment and evaluation committee. How the examination and examination committee works, its formation, how they meet and regularly document and monitors, plan, it means pre-examination, on examination, and post-examination. How the mechanism is planned, how often they meet, what do they decide, what do they monitor. Secondly, how do you plan continuous internal evaluation in your academic calendar? Then what type of modes of assessment you have identified? There are usually two modes of assessment. That is, one is formative. What is formative? Formative assessment is what you call classroom, in classroom environment. We ask a question, we throng a concept, we try to take a response, and we try to check how far students have been able to pursue what I have taught. And summative is semester or year-end examination, which marks are being considered for to be added in the result sheet. Now, what type of examinations are planned? Then simultaneously, how it is being implemented. That timetable is prepared, notices for not only for examination notices, but along with that, the time span given for assessment. Then students are notified. Students are notified for during that particular aspect, where the students are notified related to examination timetable, duty allotment charts, then presentee absentee report, then corrective and preventive measures, revaluation, then result declaration, then result related grievances mechanism, how you had notified, then what were the grievances related, how they were responded. Means, suppose you have received a complaint that I did not my marks were not shown although I was present. It was the university examination conducted. So you have corrected that, and you have processed that, you have forwarded that complaint. So you have addressed that grievance. Suppose if it is related to internal marks, how have you handled it? You might have sent to the concern, then concern might have responded, and then so all the letters of complaints or grievances can be very easy. One, starting from my name is not there in the list, subjects are differently shown, my photograph is changed, so and so, so and so, so, and my result are kept pending, wrong result, absentee report, then revaluation related. So all this comes under the what do you call the grievance. So what policy, how much time you have finalized. So there are some different policies that are need to be prepared at institutional level, like say a different the policy related to curriculum delivery mechanism, internal CIE mechanism, then attainment mechanism, then admission, then mentoring. So such types of documents you will have to such types of things you will have to explain as per your mechanism in 500 words, and or whatever I have mentioned, give the documentary support, which is meant for how many marks? 40 marks, because previously for 251 and 252 for affiliated and constituent colleges, 20 marks each. Before that, actually it was 15 plus 15, but then again it has been increased to 40 marks additional benefit, because in autonomous also one more point is there in autonomous manual, that is IT integration in the evaluation, that what type of software or how you are taking help of different software for running different mechanism. So simultaneously, mm, uh, Murli sir, I'm going to come back. Let me explain, because of paucity of time, I'm rather skipping your question for at this moment. Kindly excuse me for some time. Okay. So 261 qualitative metric. What is it? Program outcomes. Repeated word is there. Program outcome, that is PO, and course outcomes. Course outcomes of all the programs are offered by the institution and are stated and displayed on the website, and attainment of the PO and CO is evaluated. Now remember one thing, that first part will deal with the 25 marks part, will deal with the part before, and that is you write your program outcome and course outcome for all the courses and all the programs, and they are communicated to stakeholders. In new education policy, in revision of the degree, the major focus is on the outcome based teaching learning processes. That when student is pursuing some degree, he should get, and it should be evaluated or calculated, that how much or how far he has been able to attain. So the quality of teaching is judged by the quality of learning. What did I say? Quality of teaching is judged by the quality of learning. We teach, but through their examination, so how far students have been able to score more. So this is the attainment. So course is a paper or subject. Whatever outcomes you write for the course, means within a semester, there are 6 papers, 6 subjects. So 6 courses, but through which we give the degree, that is the program. Okay, previously there was program specific outcome also. Now, when you write course outcomes, use this Bloom's taxonomy and its action verbs. Because I told you that remember, understand, and apply. They are considered to be lower order, and use these action verbs. After studying this particular course, students are able to define, students are able to duplicate, students are able to memorize. After learning this course, students are able to classify, describe, students are able to execute, students are able to solve. So then students are able to differentiate, stable students are able to appraise, students are able to design. I have given some examples, but on net you will be able to find many action verbs. These are called as action because these verbs shows what actions to do, whether they are able to just duplicate. Because remember, understand, apply, these first three are considered to be lower order, and analyze, evaluate, and create, they are considered as higher orders of learning. Usually the problem that I have observed, because I have conducted more than 60-70 sessions on outcome writing, mapping, and how we can check the attainment in tune with National Board of Accreditation suggested methodology. I have conducted it for many autonomous colleges, institutes across Maharashtra and different parts of the country, different states also. This particular metrics, that is writing outcome and checking its attainment, it goes on, hands-on training goes on for 4 hours. So I am going to be very brisk over here, very very superficial over here. The reason is that question rises, how many outcomes should we write for every course? It can vary between 4 and 6. Do not be high and mighty. Do not be try to give excess. What the problem that I have observed among the teachers, among the departments writing outcome, they first write as the first outcome with higher order and the last one with lower order. Basic idea is that first you give lower order cognitive challenge, learning experience, and then you rise them to higher order. So this is what for every course you write, for every program you write, for every program you write course outcome, enlist them, communicate with the student. So how you can communicate? One, institutional website. Second, in their induction programs. Second, third, in their or possibility that in bridge course you communicate at departmental meeting, in classroom, on notice board. So through different mechanisms, you decide your outcomes based on the skills that they need to acquire. And after that, what you do? After that, you design your very important, I'm trying to mention that you design your evaluation pattern according to the requirement of the outcome. Suppose, for example, I'm trying to say that I'm keeping my expectation, as I was introduced, that I'm a teacher of English. My student should be able to read, write, read or speak in English. And suppose if I conduct only written test, have I been using any evaluation tool to judge the student whether he has been able to read and speak? No. So I will have to add one more assessment tool, that is their presentation or seminars or group discussions, whatever is possible for me, to check whether they are able to read and whether they are able to speak in English. And then I will have to give the mark. This is nothing else but giving justice to the students, those who are given commitment that these are the outcomes, expected outcomes that you study. So the point I was trying to mention is that when we discuss this particular aspect related to communication of this particular aspect, remember the latter part 262 is with the attainment of POCOs explained with evidence in maximum 500 words. So how attainment is calculated? The concept of rubrics comes in. Now say for example that you design your some mechanism that you assess your outcomes based on lower order, like say for example you may evaluate through class tests, tutorials, seminars, assignments, long determined regular internal test. Okay, but higher orders need to be evaluated through different course projects, mini projects, and surveys. And the documentation to be very simple. First of all, your assessment needs to be transferred according to or changed according to the requirement of course outcomes. I know many of you are going to confuse regarding the checking of attainment part. And first of all, I'm going to put disclaimer, any other metric, if it remained unanswered, I shall accept, but I'm not able to give, I shall not be able to give the guarantee within a very small time that I shall be able to give you 100% justice for mapping and attainment of it, because already I have clarified that this requires a different level setting. So your question papers are need to be set according to your course outcomes stated. Then you will have to mark out what would be the level of attainment for you, that how much average percentage of students should get through your through your teaching learning, or how much percentage of marks they should achieve in your every CO wise target can be different. Then conducting examination, and after conducting examination, take a class average for which is the question that you have assigned, and how much is the percentage of it, and match it through different modes. Through different modes? Direct and indirect mode. Suppose, for example, you are checking the attainment. There are direct, indirect assessment. Direct means what? Direct in a sense where you assign questions directly from your curriculum. Indirect is where the questions are not directly from your examinations, but they may be survey, they may be feedback of students, they may be the questions based on their satisfaction level. So first of all, the direct attainment I told you, indirect attainment I told you, that is course exit survey or program exit survey or end survey. Now come back to direct. Direct can be again divided into two. One is your internal assessment, and second is that external assessment. Those are affiliated internal CI that you conduct during that particular seminar. Secondly, external is your end semester examination, university, or if you are autonomous, that semester exam you conduct. So you are going to decide the percentage. So internal, whether I'm going to accept it as a 20% or 25% or 30% or 40%, and external, whether for 60, 70 or 75%. So you will have to decide your policy that out of direct, internal and external, how much I am going to accept, and how much out of direct and indirect, how much percentage I am going to accept. So you will have to clarify your policy first of all, and accordingly, you will have to conduct your examinations, set the target to each and every that particular question based on your question paper or the marks of the students. You calculate the percentage, and then finally you come to the conclusion whether attainment is done or not. Please forgive me in the name of Almighty Allah. I'm not giving you full justice. I just give you the outline because it requires a lot of time, I repeat. Now 263 is the quantitative metric, say pass percentage of the students. That is meant for 45 marks. Your students pass percentage for last 5 years will be asked for AQR, the period of AQR, period of result, or the year which you are uploading AQR. So here program code, name of the program. Here remember, you are not, as I told you in 211, you are not expected to give the data of all the 3 years if the degree is of 3 years, or 2 years if the degree is of 2 years. There I told you for admission year marking, I told you to fill in the data of only first year. Here you are supposed to fill in the data of only final year. Consider only fresh students in final year. It means number of students, those who appeared for examination, and out of appeared student, how many students passed in the examination. So this will be supported with the document, that list of the student appeared for the examination. And if you are autonomous institution, if you are affiliated college, your result analysis only will not help you. That can be supportive document, but the most important that the ledger or the extract is issued by the university, where university authority stamps and signs on it. that needs to be presented over there. Otherwise, you may lose mark, or before that, you may face the query in TVB. So the fresh students appear for the examination from final year of every degree, and in correlation, how many students have passed. Do not add the repeated students. And this 271, our previous systems, how many previous systems were properly given, properly executed. Based on it, 60 marks question is to be addressed, that is online student satisfaction survey regarding teaching learning process. When you are uploading if your AQR or SSR, I repeat, you will have to give the list of 50%. Not only for AQR, you are adding your level student satisfaction survey, which you have conducted. There is no link. But for SSR, you will have to give minimum student strength, current student strength, not previous student strength, current student strength of the students, minimum 50% of the students list you will have to give, along with name of the student, their gender, category, domicile state, nationality, then email ID, then which program they have been studying, and then student enrollment ID, mobile number, and year of joining. Students, once you upload your SSR finally, immediately, right now, we have been witnessing that once you submit, within 15-20 minutes, your students, 25% of your students receive email from NAAC for student satisfaction survey. There will be 21 questions, which would be divided in 20 as a multiple choice question, and 21st will be one that is to what are the student suggestions for the development of the institution. So there it will be open end question, remember. So if these questions, students, NAAC has also published on its website the student awareness digital sheet that the students can be made aware that they are the NAAC is conducting online student satisfaction survey. And most important thing is that the very crucial aspect is that unless 10% or 100, I repeat, 10% or 100 is the response from our student, this metric is not considered for the calculation of the calculation and finally marks. Means if it is below 10% or 100, you will lose at a straight way, you will lose 60 marks. So Murli sir, this is what regarding 271, whether a degree certificate to be submitted every year for a full-time teacher approved faculty has put in long year experience, you can submit it once, because if the teacher is on the roll during all the 5 years as a permanent teacher, year-wise mention the name of the teacher, but simultaneously when you are giving the document, no need to, because you are submitting the document in a one single sheet or one single PDF. Okay, so this is what from my side, I might have taken some 10-15 minutes more, but already some 13 to 17 minutes were spent in introduction and joining. So I took time, but remember, I tried to give you the complete view, or what you call the holistic view of this second criteria, which is meant for 35% of the weightage. So once again, thank you very much for giving me an opportunity on listening to me patiently. Okay, I have given, if you have any query, you may ask me. Otherwise, let us be connected virtually, and if it is there, if time permits, sometimes say we may meet on a single platform also. So once again, thank you very much, ma'am. Over to you.
Thank you, sir, for your effective and valuable speech. Let's winding up this session with vote of thanks. I wish to invite Mr. Dinesh Babu, sir, Department of Commerce with Computer Application, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, one and all present here. No duty is more important than giving thanks. It's my privilege to propose a vote of thanks. First of all, a special thanks to our chief guest for accepting our invitation and for being here with us today. Your thoughts have truly inspired us. I would I would like to expand my gratitude to the management, respected principal and vice principal for their support for the successful workshop. And my sincere thanks to the organizing team, IQAC coordinator Dr. Suganya ma'am, assistant coordinator Vishnu Sangar sir, IQAC members for their hard work to make this event a successful one. My extended thanks to all the professors and to my dear friends. Finally, I would like to thanks everyone present, online, offline participation for making the time to be with us today and helping us make this event a grand success. Thank you one and all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Do share feedback. Thank you very much, you all.
Thank you, sir. Okay, let's start the third session. For that, I invite Mrs. S. Deepalakshmi, Department of Computer Science, to welcome the chief guest. I welcome you, ma'am.
Very good afternoon to one and all gathered here for the session on the topic Criterion 3 Research, Innovation and Extension. A smile is the universal welcome. It gives me an immense pleasure to start this auspicious occasion by heartily welcoming everybody. All believers receive the power to become children of God, to be transferred and restored to our true nature, people created in the image of God. Charles Colson. We are so blessed for our short time together and thank God for uniting us as one. On behalf of the management, principal, vice principal, and my own behalf, I extend my heartfelt welcome to the honorable chief guest, Dr. R. Vinita R. Pai, Professor of Biochemistry, NAAC Medical College, Director Center, PhD Program, Mangalore. A warm welcome to the IQAC coordinator, Criterion heads and members, and also participants from various places. I welcome you one and all. I welcome you.
Thank you, ma'am. Next, I would like to invite Mrs. C.P. Swatimuthu, ma'am, Department of English, to give chief guest introduction.
Good evening, one and all present here. I feel elated to introduce her on this momentous event. She is a living inspiration to all of us. Dr. Vinita Ramnath Pai, he is a professor of biochemistry, NAAC Medical College, and director. She has masters in medical biochemistry from Kasturba Medical College, Manipal, in the year 1984, and doctorate in biochemistry from Mysore University in the year 2013. She worked as a postdoctoral fellow in Department of Biochemistry, Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, sponsored by the Department of Biotechnology, Government of India. And she has 55 research publications and over 425 citations to her credit. And she's a reviewer for a number of indexed peer-reviewed journals. And she is the co-author of a textbook of biochemistry of physiotherapy and allied health science. And her research interests include exploring the biological properties of phytochemicals, cancer biology, protein chemistry, and microalbuminuria, etc. And she is the recipient of the Global Faculty Educator, and she is awarded at 2021 for accomplishing excellence in educational service through her occupational competency and explanatory work in the field of higher education. Dr. Pai she has published and Best Research Publication Award for during the year 2021 for NAAC Medical College on the occasion of National Science Day, and it was conducted on February 28, 2022. And her research work with her PhD scholar is granted an Indian patent, and she has a passion for scientific writing, and she has been resource person for many workshops on this topic. And her aim is to motivate the postgraduates and junior faculty to do good research and target in high impact factor for the journals to publish the outcome of their research project. And she is the living inspiration to all of us. Thank you, ma'am. I welcome you.
Now the session is over to our chief guest. I welcome you, ma'am.
Thank you very much for your kind introduction, and I'm very delighted to be here. So I take this opportunity to thank the organizers who have invited me to be resource person for this, especially the IQAC cluster and Dr. Piyush and Dr. Badrunisa. Thank you. So may I share my slides now, please? Can you see my slide? Yeah, thank you. So Criterion 3, exclusively for research, innovations and extension. So this is very important and we will see the different areas in which we need to work for this particular criteria. So in this criterion, it involves innovation, research, collaboration, extension, awards, and outreach. So let's go to the key indicators of this. So we have 3.1 involving grants received from government and non-governmental agencies for research projects. So first let us see why research is important. Research is a tool for building knowledge, business success and economy of the country, role in critical thinking and innovation. Quality research is beneficial to students, community, industry, region, nation, and the world. So therefore, research output is a vital indicator of quality education. So research plays an unique and irreplaceable role in the higher education. The main aim of the NAAC is developing quest for excellence amongst educational institutes that could help students learn in a competitive environment. Therefore, research becomes a very important platform for the development of not only the students, also the faculty. So, but there are a lot of problems which we all come across in research activity. Most of us cite limited infrastructure, limited funding and time, lack of motivation and guidance, less focus on undergraduate research. We think them too immature to do any research. So we try to ignore the undergraduate research, lack of research ecosystem in most of the educational institutes. So what can be done to enhance the research in the institutes? First and foremost, whatever branch we are from, it's important to identify the trust areas and have a good number of major and minor research projects. Encourage students to do PhD, which will enable them to be good researchers further in their life, become research guides for more students. Organization and active participation of the faculty in national and international seminars, conferences, and symposiums. This itself gives an exposure to the faculty to know how to conduct and what is going on currently in the world. Aiming for publications in high impact factor journals is another area where the faculty can be trained. Obtaining funding for research from government and non-government organization also is a feather to the cap of the faculty if they get it. So, how the institutes can help them? Facilitate filing for patents, awards and incentives for researchers. If they get good publications, get a good funding agency grant, give them an award for that, some incentive for that. MOUs with reputed institutes, national and international universities, industries, which will encourage the faculty members to go further into research because they can see other people's view on research as well. Focus on UG research. By and large, we tend to ignore, we think the UGs are immature to do research, but try to include them. Shaping the young brains can take us a long way and take our nation to a long way. Encourage sharing of resources building teamwork, and facilitate interdisciplinary research. So research, it seems that is absolutely important now. Teaching no longer becomes a 9 to 4 job. You have to include research in your as part of day-to-day activities. So the first criterion, the first matrix 3.1.1 includes innovation, collaboration, awards, research process, extension, outreach activity. So first and foremost, it is the role of the IQAC and management to plan a strong strategy. Plan the activities well in advance. Keep the NAAC coordinators of the departments aware that which time of the year they have to do their activity, whether it's an extension activity or a workshop or a outreach activity, that can be planned as a calendar well in advance. Set measurable aims and objectives, working instructions, keeping timeline, keeping the time in mind. And since there are many departments involved, so measurable aims and objectives, analyze the objectives with time, calculate the output, strategy to fill the gap, and capture the final output. So a methodology should be in place from the NAAC center so that the faculty can be given the right direction. And it's very much more practical to do this because the funding for all this can be equally distributed from all concerned and in a very systematic manner. So criterion 3.1, resource mobilization, grants received from government and non-governmental agencies for research projects, endowments in the institution during the last 5 years. Funding agencies, we have government, non-government, providing the grants for scientific research in the field of science, technology, and social sciences. So, but most of the faculty members have a fear that they may not get it, since it is extremely competitive, in which potential research projects are evaluated, and only the most promising receive funding. So naturally, the faculty members are a little apprehensive about applying for grants. So there is a need to support them with adequate workshops on how to write research grants and show them examples of what type of grants have received money. So this will take the faculty members a long way to write grant proposals for funding agency grants. The other sources are, you have different departments of the government, universities, and some specialized government agencies. Other sources are charitable foundations, industry, foreign agencies, along with government funding agencies. From the side of the institute, they could have a special committee for helping the faculty in getting the funding from various funding agencies, training them, and also counseling them to write a good proposal. So coming to the Indian agencies, we have University Grants Commission, AICTE, BRNS, CSIR, Council for Scientific and Industrial Research, Defense Research and Development Organization, DRDO, Department of Atomic Energy. So almost every branch of science has a department in our Indian government which will go scrutinize the proposals that come before they can be finalized the final list. Non-governmental organization, to name a few, you have the JRD Tata Trust, ONGC, C. Dorabji Trust, Sri Ratan Tata Trust, Tata Energy Research Institute, Indian Oil Corporation, Bombay Natural History Society, INTAC. So there are a number of non-governmental organizations and trusts which fund for research as well. There are foreign collaborations, foreign funding agencies for which call for applications, and there are also collaborations between the Indian government and the foreign, like Indo-Australia, Indo-UK, Indo-Commonwealth fellowships, which can be applied for, the grants can be applied for. So there is scope, there is a need for the faculty members to become aware of this, and also from the institute side to give them the proper support and the counseling for writing these proposals. So also in this, it is written as endowments in the institute during the last 5 years. So what is an endowment? Endowment refers to the amount of money an institute receives in donation. Endowment is used for a scholarship, upgrading facilities, hiring professors, for many other purposes. In addition, there is something called chair, which is a position permanently paid for from an endowment for a special purpose. For example, the National Human Rights Commission Chair on Human Rights, NHRC, ICICI Chair for Business Laws. So like this, there are chairs. Endowments are often used by universities and non-profit organizations to fund their ongoing operations as well. So the grants received, I will show you how to fill up the form later on. So the next comes 3.1.2, that is percentage of teachers recognized, which I have not put here because it is just a calculation. So number of teachers recognized as research guides for the PhD program divided by total number of teachers into 100. So that will give us the percentage of teachers who are recognized as guides. So how will you increase the number of teachers who or motivate the teachers to become research guides? Probably incentives to the research guides, impart proper training to the guides, if possible provide flexibility in time schedules, like have them club their classes towards one side of the week so that the other half they can devote to research. Probably 1 or 2 days in a week they could devote to research. Provide sound research facilities, inculcate interdisciplinary research work and teamwork within the institute and with institutes from close by or a little away. Allocate funds for institute funded research projects. 3.1.3 is percentage of departments having research projects funded by government and non-government institutes during the last 5 years. It is just a calculation which I will be showing later. Coming to 3.2.1, institution has created an ecosystem for innovations and has initiatives for creation and transfer of knowledge, patents filed, published, incubation center facilities in the higher education institute to be considered. Now here, this word ecosystem is actually from the field of biology, which means is the study of interrelationship among the living organisms and physical features, biochemical processes, natural phenomena, and human activities in ecological communities. It means basically a dependence or a collaboration between the various departments in the institute. Interdisciplinary research can be part of this ecosystem, having good facilities, having good counseling, having good workshops conducted for them. All this becomes part of the ecosystem, having an incubation center, so all the for this ecosystem, what is required is having an innovation center. So what is an innovation center? An innovation center is a cross-functional plan that creates a safe haven for new ideas, with opportunities for individual and group collaboration across the departments and within the state, outside the state, or even outside the country. It's a place that facilitates a culture of innovation through creation, sharing, and testing of ideas. So an innovation center, business incubation center, which is mainly for the startups, small enterprises or startups. It is geared towards small business development, innovation and application of technology, and promotion of growth from within local economies while additionally giving a tool for technology transmission. So the incubation center basically gives technical services, management training, and office space for the researchers to come and look for opportunities. In addition, knowledge transfer practices. It is very essential that the institute builds up a conceptual framework for the knowledge transfer. So, knowledge transfer between academia and industry is considered an important driver for innovation and economic growth, as it becomes easy for commercialization of new scientific knowledge with the industry. And this requires bidirectional knowledge sharing to identify relevant problem sharing and develop new insights, and the transfer and implementation of knowledge or technology. When knowledge transfer has to be done, a number of factors should be kept in mind when you're making the framework. The knowledge factors, nature of the knowledge, transfer mechanisms, the relationship factors, whether it is cultural distance or communication, quality or use of collaborator technologies, client factors, and vendor factors. So keeping all this in mind, it is better to have a conceptual framework for knowledge transfer. (3.2.2) number of workshops, seminars, conferences, including those on research methodology, intellectual property rights, and entrepreneurship conducted during the last 5 years. Now, when it comes to this, you need to have the number of workshops conducted over the 5 years, year-wise, number of students benefited from this along with their attendance, list and activities of the industry academia interaction, innovative practices, IPR workshop, name of the workshop or seminar, and the duration, from which date to which date. So it's very important that for every workshop that you have conducted, you file the details right from, for documentation purpose, you file it right from sending a proposal to conduct this workshop right up till the report sent with the photographs. So all this should be, for every workshop that is conducted, all the documents should be kept in order so that it becomes for you easy for you in the end while filing for the detailed data for the NAAC. So next comes the 3.3 research publication and awards. 3.3.1 number of research papers published per teacher in the journals notified on UGC care list during the last 5 years. So here the UGC care list is already there. So it is better to make the faculty aware of the UGC care list, probably send each one of them through email, send each one of them a copy of the UGC care list so that they are aware of the journals that are available, and where they can then look at it to know where exactly they can send their papers. So every journal has their own aims, scopes, objectives. So they need to match the papers, their papers, with the appropriate journal having the scope of their topic. So then it may find a place in that particular journal. So in this, we also have the number of books in 3.3.1. There are 2 more questions, 3.3.1.1. How many PhDs registered per eligible teacher within the last few years, 5 years? And 3.3.1.2, number of teachers recognized as guides during the last 5 years. So As I remember, the guides are not only PhD guides, the PG guides number is also included in this. So all the numbers can be added up together for this particular. So then you need to calculate the percentage of the research guides, a number of teachers recognized as research guides during the last 5 years. So it is number of PhD, and also we have in this the number of PhD scholars who have registered per guide. So total number of PhDs registered in the past 5 years divide by the number of research guides into 100 will give us that particular data. So 3.3.2 is the number of research papers per teacher in journals notified on UGC website during the last 5 years. So this is very straightforward, and we need to enter the number of books published or papers published with their ISBN and ISSN number. So ISBN is International Standard Book Number and ISSN is International Standard Serial Number. So they are unique bibliographic reference numbers used to identify individual books, journals, multimedia, and other published material. So coming to the journals, it's important to know the journal impact matrices because they attempt to quantify the importance of a particular journal in its field. The impact factor is a measure of a frequency with which the article is cited in a particular year or period. So impact factor of a journal is calculated by dividing the number of current year citations to the source items published in the journal during the previous 2 years. So this impact factor is updated annually. It's available in Journal Citation Report by Clarivate Analysis, and you can look up the individual journals or browse by category, that is by discipline. It is limited to journals indexed in Web of Science, and journals not indexed in this database do not have an impact factor. Science and social science are more likely to have impact factors than humanities journals. So H-index, next is H-index. It's an author level matrix, measures both productivity and citation impact of journals. And I10 index, it refers to the number of papers which have more than 10 citations. It is created by Google Scholar and uses the Google's My Citations feature. So this very simple measure is only used by Google Scholar, and Google has provided an automatically calculated H-index and I10 index within Google Scholar profile. The journal impact matrices do not assess the quality of the individual articles, their importance or usefulness. The quality and impact of the author's work may extend beyond the impact of the particular journal. Okay, so say that because a journal is publishing and a researcher is publishing in a certain journal, he or she is more influential or deserves more credit is not necessarily true. There are many other variables to consider. So says Jim Testa, a researcher from Thomson Reuters Scientific, in an interview conducted in 2008. So it's very important to look at quality journals from your area and then look at publishing in those. You have Scopus. It is the largest abstract and citation database of peer-reviewed literature, that is scientific journals, books, and conference proceedings. And it delivers a comprehensive overview of the world's research output in the fields of science, technology, medicine, social sciences, arts, and humanities. And Scopus also features smart tools to track, analyze, and visualize research. We also now have ResearchGate. It's a European commercial social networking site for scientists and researchers to share paper, ask and answer questions, and find collaborators. So this is about the journals and publications. So when faculty members get the publication in journals with high impact factor, then the incentive points could be introduced by the institute to encourage them towards doing more research, or seed grants can be given to faculty members who are interested in doing research but do not have the right funds. So providing seed grants can give the faculty members the start to their research. So with the initial data that they receive, they get from the work done through the seed grant, they could probably apply for a funding agency grant. They will probably stand a better chance of getting funding agency grants now that they have some basis for the work that they are proposing to do with the funding agency grant finance. Coming to the next, that is extension activities, 3.4.1. So what is extension activity? There's always a confusion between extension activity and outreach activity. So extension activities are carried out in the neighborhood community, sensitizing students to social issues for their holistic development and impact thereof during the last 5 years. So this all the activities that have been done in the last 5 years can be included under the extension activity. So what type of extension activities can be done? An extension as a social application of services and knowledge for betterment of the community, like village adoption, providing training in vermicompost manufacture, organizing classes on some arts and crafts like floral arts maybe, conducting socio-economic survey, undertaking rural reconstruction program, watershed management. So the faculty and students can visit old age homes, rehabilitation centers, orphanages, and hospitals to share food, clothing, and the joy of various festivals. So what is required when you do an extension activity? The procedure, there is a set procedure to be followed when you do an extension activity. The important steps related to extension activities are, first of all, take permission from the authorities in the institute. Then take permission from the authorities, the place where you want to go for the extension activity. Prepare the activity calendar. Make a notice, advertisement. Enroll people for the extension activity. Give an orientation program to the faculty and students. What is expected out of them at this extension activity? Then comes the execution of the activity. Collect the feedback for analysis and replanning of the activity. So following which prizes can be awarded, and publications, if at all the data is good enough for a publication, you can think about a publication. It's important to have the event mentioned in the local newspapers. So you document that which comes in the newspaper and in the annual magazine of the institute. So it's very important that documentation of every part has to be done then and there. So when you have a number of extension activities, it is better to do document every event in a particular order and then have it hand it over to the NAAC for center for documentation. So remember, the order in which you do, the same order has to be maintained in the documentation. What are the benefits of the extension activities? Extension activities imbibes a sense of social responsibility among the students and the faculty. They helps them engage in social services, especially things such as adoption of villages, inculcates a dignity of labor among the students, creates sensitivity towards human rights. They learn to respect other human beings, links academic learning with societal problem solving, sense of real world outside the classroom, and they get a feeling of belonging to the world, and they can develop skill sets. So what are the skill sets that the students can develop through extension activities? Organizational skills, planning, execution, evaluation, documenting, interpersonal skills. The extension activity needs a lot of team building. So teamwork, cooperating with one another, communication skills, oral, written, report writing, making posters, doing role plays, organizing activities, organizing the events, and also reporting back to the institute. Research skills such as surveys, observation, analysis, and presentation of data. So all these skill sets can be developed among the students and the faculty. Coming to the social service part of it, surveys on health, social, economical, and technical problems. So, for example, you can have a survey on the effect of mobiles on the behavior of students, or their study patterns, or a study can, now that the mobile is here to stay, so how they have used it, what are they doing with the mobile. So conducting a survey with this will give you a good information about what can be done to make the students use it in a very fruitful way. Technology-based contour mapping, biodiversities, audits like energy audit, water audit, rainwater harvesting, garden development, so safety and security audit of the rural areas. All these audits can help the betterment of the community and adds to the social service factor. Environment related, such as the sound pollution, no horns, plastic free campus, e-waste management, water conservation. So all this can help in building up the students as respectable, committed members of the society. Having a social outreach center can address social issues, work on community network, and conduct field social service and collaborations with NGOs. It requires an integrated approach and a coordinated effort for effective community service. Coordination between various departments like NCC, NSS can help in this particular point. Outcome-based social service, knowledge management, expert from industry, social science, environmental science, law, etc. also will contribute to this particular criteria. Technology-based social work, such as water treatment plants, energy audit, computer literacy, the rural areas or the outskirts of the cities, computer literacy, then waste management, creation of a GIS database, heritage development plan template, drip irrigation, watershed management, environmental impact assessment of rivers. All this can be technology-based social work. The NSS, NCC social services, tree plantation programs, can organize rally and poster competition for Save Girl Child, organize poster and essay competition on Save Water, drawing competition on Save Earth, blood donation camps in coordination with an hospital, Swachh Bharat Abhiyan in and around the college campus or maybe in rural areas of the city, cashless awareness among society, Startup India awareness programs, all these can be part of the NSS NCC social services. In our institute, the NSS has helped build houses with the plastic bottles that have been discarded, the Bisleri water bottles. They have helped build houses using these plastic bottles as the framework. So something like that will be beneficial, and there will be some, I think we got some points for the waste management also in that particular criteria. So what are the proofs you need to have related to the extension activity? The academic calendar, minutes of the IQAC and other meetings, the notice, program sheets, list of participants with signature, certificate, at least 2 photos, geotagged photographs of each event, website report, newspaper cuttings, YouTube clip, and if it is any other place also, you can have the photographs from that area as well. So the proofs related to the extension activity have to be maintained and handed over to the IQAC in this order. So after the extension activity is over, you are expected to submit a report, extension activity report. So what was the nature of the extension activity? Whether it was hands-on, whether it was a visit, guest lecture, survey, physical work, or whatever type, you need to specify that. What were the outcomes of the activity? You may want to list out the outcomes of the activity, problems occurred if any, and recommendation. Probably the next time they want to do the same extension activity, what modification they would like to do. So that could be included in the extension activity report. The number of awards and recognitions received for extension activities from government and government recognized bodies. This is 3.4.2. So in this, you need to fill up the table, which I will be showing later. So what are the types of awards? Just to give you an example, some examples: Best College Award, Best College NSS Unit, Best College Unit NSS Award. If you have got, that will come under this category. Best Team, State Level Camp and University Level, Best Program Officer, Best Volunteer at District, State or National Level, Best Cadet at different levels, Republic Day Parade held at New Delhi. If any of your students have been identified to participate in the Republic Day Parade, you could include that. So things like that can be included under the 3.4.2. So 3.4.3 is the number of extension and outreach programs conducted by the institution through NSS, NCC, Red Cross, etc., including the programs such as Swachh Bharat, AIDS awareness, genderness issues, etc., and or those organized in collaboration with industry, community, and NGOs during the last 5 years. So here again, after your extension activities are done, that data will come in this particular criteria, 3.4.3. So the next 3.5 is collaboration. So number of collaborative activities for research, faculty exchange, number of MOUs, collaborations, linkages for faculty exchange, student exchange, internship, field trip, on-the-job training, research, and other academic activities during the last 5 years. So here, two things which I would like to say is, although we have signed MOUs with other institutes, universities, we need to remember that the MOUs should be on stamp paper. If the MOUs are not on stamp paper, it stands void. So it's very important to have the MOUs on stamp paper. So these can be documented in this particular criterion. So here are the documents required for each key indicator. Grants received from government, non-governmental agencies for research projects, endowments, chairs in the institution during the year in INR in lakhs. So here you will have list of endowments, projects with details of grants, e-copies of the grant award letters for sponsored research projects and endowments. So these documents have to be uploaded when you are uploading your NAAC. Resource mobilization for research. Again here, this is the template where the 3.1.1, 3.1.3, number of here you have to include all the governmental agencies for research projects, endowments in the institution during the year in INR lakhs. And 3.1.3 is the number of departments having research projects funded by government and non-government agencies during the year. So you will put the name of the project, endowment, chair, name of the principal investigator, co-investigator, department of principal investigator, year of award, amount sanctioned, duration of the project, name of the funding agency, and type, that is government or non-government. So here it is. You need to have the description, file description, the template, and then you need to upload the documents. Innovation ecosystem, key indicator, institution has created an ecosystem for innovations, has initiative for creation and transfer of knowledge. So paste link for additional information. So the documents can be linked to these sites. First of all, you need to have a 200 words write-up before you post all the documents. There is a space where you have to write the 200 words write-up. And then number of workshops, seminars conducted on research methodology, IPR and entrepreneurship during the year. So the list of workshop seminars during the year, as I already told you, every workshop seminar that you have conducted should have all the details right from the proposal that you have sent to the management for conducting a workshop till the report. Your proposal, then your permission letter, your program, brochure if you have one. You need to include some of the resource person list, some photographs, geotagged photographs, and the feedback taken, the analysis of the feedback, the report that you have submitted to the institution. All this should be documented event-wise and submitted to the IQAC so that it can be done, all can be accumulated and done year-wise. So every department will be doing this. So when we send it, they will put it in order as per the calendar of events. They will put it in order and then they can have the document ready for uploading. So innovation ecosystems, here number of research papers per teacher in the journals notified on UGC Care website during the year. It's very important for the teachers to be aware that which journals are there in the UGC Care list before they can publish. Take a call, the teachers can take a call on it when they are writing their papers itself. so that they know which journals to target as they are writing the paper, and also take care to see that while they are submitting, the journal is still in the UGC care list. Very often, after they have submitted the paper and it is accepted, sometimes the journal is taken off from the UGC care list or from the Scopus database. This happens very often, but it's very important that they maintain a record to show that when they submitted or when it was published, it was in UGC care list. So they need to document this to be on the safer side. So number of workshops, seminars conducted on these. It is very important to create an awareness among the faculty, the PGs of the institute on what is the right methodology to use for the research that they plan to do. This is the best orientation that the students and the junior faculty can get. And based on these workshops, they can plan their research. So in our institute, every 6 months, we do conduct workshops on research methodology. So one department or the other conducts for the students and junior faculty. We have an IPR cell. So IPR cells can be, every institution can have an IPR cell where they can get the right information. What is the intellectual property right? What is intellectual property? What is intellectual property right? What are patents? What are industrial designs? What are trademarks? What are copyrights? So all these awareness should be created among the faculty so that they know that what I have done can go for a patent, or the research what I have done can go for a patent. Now, when it has to go for a patent, there are some rules to follow. It cannot be published before the patent provisional number is got for the patent. So they have to keep this in mind. So it's always better to have a IPR cell who can guide and lead the faculty in the right direction for getting all these. So once your IPR cell is in place, it will be very easy for the faculty members and the students to do their or look for projects where they can get patents. So in this particular criteria 3.2.2, so it is a year wise in the last 5 years. So name of the workshop and seminar conducted, how many participants, duration, and a link to the activity report on the website of the institute. So this is how it looks like in the HIE portal for uploading the documents. So 3.3, research publication and awards. So key indicator, number of research papers per teacher in the journal notified on UGC website during the years. Now here is a big dilemma that some of the good society journals, for example, since I work in a health university, we have dental college, medical college. So all the society journals, most of them are not in the UGC care list, although they are indexed in the PubMed. So we have included that in our criteria that the article should be published only in Scopus, Web of Science, or PubMed index journals. So make it very clear that the faculty and whoever is publishing papers are aware that quality is important, and that PubMed, Scopus, Web of Science, PubMed, or for us PubMed, for those who don't have health science, Scopus and Web of Science are the right places to look for journals which where they can publish their papers. So again, the list of research papers by title, author, department name, year of publication. So all the information will be given in a particular sequence, and that has to be submitted to the IQAC so that they can document everything in order. So number of books and chapters in edited volumes, books published and papers published in national and international conference proceedings per teacher during the year. So here again, ISBN number comes into play here, ISSN number and ISBN number. So they need to have these numbers. If they only then it will be considered for the NAAC purpose. So this is the table in which the data has to be entered. Title of the paper, name of the authors, department of the teacher, name of journal, year of publication, ISSN number of the journal, and link to the recognition in UGC enlistment of the journal. Same way, the books and chapters also have to be entered. Name of the teacher, title of the book, chapters published, title of the paper, title of the proceedings of the conference, name of the conference, national, international, year of publication, ISBN or ISSN number of the proceeding, affiliating institute at the time of publication, and name of the publisher. So this is what it looks like in the portal where you can upload this data. 3.4 extension activities. The key indicator. Extension activities are carried out in neighboring community, so sensitizing students to social issues for their holistic development and impact thereof during the year. So all the information can be given in the additional information. You can upload any additional information. Same way for awards and recognitions received for government activities from government and government recognized bodies, and number of extension outreach programs conducted through NSS, NCC, YRC and Red Cross, etc. So this is where you need to upload in the Higher Educational Institute portal. Name of the activity, name of the award or recognition, name of the awarding agency, that is government or government recognized bodies, year of award. Here only government and government recognized bodies are considered and not any other awards. Number of extension and outreach programs conducted by the institution. So this is through NSS, NCC, Red Cross and YRC, including programs such as Swachh Bharat, AIDS awareness, gender issues, etc. and or those organized in collaboration with industry, community and NGOs during the years. So number of students participating in extension activities at the above mentioned activities also needs to be entered. So name of the activity, organizing unit, agency or collaborating agency, name of the scheme, year of the activity, number of students who participated in such activities. Here, the attendance of the students with their signature is a must. That is a proof that so many students have taken part, and also geotagged photographs. So all the extension activity, as I told you, if documented right from getting permission, proposal, getting permissions, and all the sequence of events that have occurred along with the report and photographs, it becomes easy to upload the documents for this particular part. Number of functional MOUs with institutes, other universities, industries, corporate houses during the last 5 years. So you need to include the functional MOUs with institutions of national and international importance with other universities during the years. So you need to have e-copies of the MOUs with institution, industry, corporate houses, any additional information. Now, in educational institutes, when we sign MOUs, they expect us to show the activities that have been done in relation with these MOUs. They have to be documented. Like for example, we have an online seminar with that particular institute, or we have a workshop, the staff members from our university go to that place and conduct workshops for the faculty and the students. So that becomes an activity under that MOU. We can have student exchange programs. We can have faculty exchange programs under this MOU, and all this should be mentioned in the MOU. In addition, if you have very good research facilities, we could invite the students from that particular institute, the MOU, with whom we have signed MOU, to come over and use the research facilities in our university, so that also can be shown as an activity under the MOUs. So documentation of all the activities that have happened is important. For example, for the PhD program, when we have students registered for PhD, we invite them for the half-yearly progress review every year, twice. So that becomes an activity under the MOU, and such activities can be documented. As I already mentioned a couple of times earlier, documentation part should be very extensive, starting from the proposal to do the event right up till the report submitted along with the photographs. So here, the organization with which the MOU is signed, name of the institution, industry, corporate house, year of signing MOU, duration, list and actual activities under each MOU, year-wise, number of students, teachers participated under the MOU. So this is the portal where you need to upload. With this, I conclude, but I would like to recapitulate a few things. It is very important that the institute has a research policy. It's very important that the institute has a research policy where everything, all the research incentives for the participants and the type of research that they can do. For example, if they can have collaboration, what is the institute stand on these signing these MOUs, should be all available in the research policy. And also the check for plagiarism has to be mentioned in the research policy. So every institute is expected to have their own method for check for similarity or plagiarism. A software will be installed in place in the library where the students can go and get their similarity checked for papers. As we all know, plagiarism is illegal. So the awareness should be created among the faculty members and students about this plagiarism. We regularly have workshops for the PhD scholars as well as for the PGs, because they are expected to publish a paper within the 3 years of their postgraduate program. So we have regular workshops on plagiarism. There should be a policy on plagiarism, which includes the percentage of plagiarism that is involved. The UGC already has a policy, the same guidelines. We have created our own policy for plagiarism check. So we expect less than 10% similarity when we do the similarity check. Once the system is in place of checking for plagiarism, it is important to see whether the institute are following this, whether anybody who is submitting a paper for publication, whether they have done the plagiarism check using the software which is in their library, and the report of the plagiarism check should be available with every faculty or student who has submitted the paper along with their published paper. The report should be documented so that to show that the system is in place for, and they are aiming to get good publication with least similarity. So it is very important to have a research policy in place for every institute. So UGC has this in their website, the research guidelines for similarity. We also have the disciplinary committee, which if there is more plagiarism in a published paper, if it has come that there is more plagiarism in published paper, so we have the thing in place where, if it is 25% and more, what action should be taken? If it is 60% and more, what action should be taken? So even the disciplinary committee who checks for the plagiarism also is in place at our university. So this is also absolutely important to have. This creates the awareness among the faculty and students about coming out with good publications, having least plagiarism, and also they will learn to do good research. So with this few words, I come to the end of my presentation. If there are any questions, I'd be willing to, if it's not time yet. Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, a question from audience. Shall I ask you, ma'am?
Yeah, sure.
Regarding signing of MOU with the foreign institution, whether it is necessary to do with the stamp papered paper?
With foreign university?
Yes, ma'am.
See, actually, there was a university, one of our neighboring university had about 238 MOUs during their NAAC visit, but only 2 were on stamp paper. Okay, so all the remaining, and it was a state university. It's not a private university or a deemed to be university. It was a state university. So out of that 238, I think, only 2 were on stamp paper. So they said only 2 are valid. The rest 236 were not valid. So it is advisable to have the MOUs on stamp paper.
Thank you, madam.
Yes.
May I ask a question, ma'am?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Sometimes these journals are present in the UGC care list when we publish the paper,
Yes.
but during accreditation period,
Yes.
it has been removed or something like that happens.
Yes,
Then
it
what kind of
happens.
documentation is required for every whatever that now respective year is?
Yes, exactly. That's what I said. It happened with us. So that's why we have decided to ask the student to download the that it was Scopus indexed when it was published. Does that answer your question, madam?
Yes, ma'am. So we have to attach that list or the proof that
Yes.
that time it was included in that list, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Because this happens with our PhD students. The
Yes.
PhD students will, we have a rule that they have to publish 2 papers from
Correct.
their PhD research project. So what happens is when they publish it, it's in the Scopus Index journal. But by the time they submit their theses, it is not there sometimes. Okay. So we have now decided that we are going to bring down the that it was indexed in Scopus at the time of publication, and now that it is removed. So we have asked them to download that as well and keep it along with their publication. We have done that.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes. Any other question?
Ma'am, do you hear me?
Yes, I
Yes.
can.
Yes.
Please go ahead.
Ma'am, in the last year we have started incubation center in our institution.
Yes.
What methodology or parameters there to evaluate an incubation center? Whether we have to produce any startups yearly, regularly? How many number of startups should be we have to start every year?
I'm not sure about the numbers, but it is very important to have startups in your incubation center. Now, this becomes more feasible when you have all the required things in the, for example, in the incubation center we have at Yenagoya University, we have all the facilities for them. We have scientists to help them. We have the workshops available. We have the instrumentation available. So it is easy for them to start their startup in that. Okay. In addition, our own faculty members have started some startups in our incubation center. Okay, the number every year, the more the better for you, I think. I'm not sure. Maybe Badruni sir could clarify that. But we do have a full-fledged incubation center.
Yes, ma'am.
Incubation center.
Yes, ma'am. I would like to clarify as you said. As you said, that is really correct that every year it has to be implemented. It is not as per the number, it is like how much of outcome is there from the incubation center. Like if you are saying that you have an incubation center, then the incubation center should be working. For which department you are claiming the incubation center, that department at least one in a year has to be fruitfully worked on. And the facilities should be available for that particular center. There is no specificity that you have to have these many startups, but you should have some startup. It is like that.
And having an incubation center helps you in your area ranking also.
Exactly.
Atal ranking for incubation and innovation.
Atal ranking as well as NIRF.
Yes, it helps.
Yes.
So it's good to have an incubation center.
Ma'am, another one more question.
Yes.
Ma'am, we have we are doing an ISBN book chapter, collecting all chapters from the various colleges of our country.
Okay.
Is it eligible, the ISBN being prepared by the institution? Is it accepted by the NAAC committee? Because we produce it, we prepare and we get chapters from various institutions and we publish it in the form of a book. So is it eligible to be accepted by NAAC?
How long ever it is having an ISBN, either it is coming from your institute or from any publisher, that doesn't matter, because the ISBN number is a government number. Yeah. Which you have to apply either from your institution, or if you don't have that facility or you are not registered member for ISBN, then you can do it from any of the publisher also. Anyway, whenever ISBN is available, that is acceptable. They are not going to see that it is from institution or it is from where. When they enter the ISBN to check your book, that has to appear in that government portal.
Okay,
that is the logic.
Thank you, ma'am.
But always take care to see that your book has a ISBN number. Otherwise, it's of no use.
Exactly.
Yes, we do have, ma'am.
Yes.
We do have, and we will be publishing by this month.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Any other question?
Okay. Can I get your advice? Okay. If any queries, suggestions, or any clarifications, please post it in the chat box. It's time to end up today's section. I think the first day session was useful for the participants. Next, I would like to invite Mrs. C.P. Swati Muthu ma'am, Department of English, to deliver a vote of thanks.
Good evening to everyone. On behalf of the IQAC of our college, I would like to thank Dr. Vinita ma'am for an excellent address in the third session of the seminar organized by IQAC of Rajapalayam Rajus College. Ma'am, you have shared an awareness of many rare information about research and extension. And I would like to express my sincere gratitude to our college management, principal of our college, the coordinator of IQAC, who has selected the special invitees, and the IQAC of our college, especially all the professors who participated from many cities and from various states of India. And I also express my gratitude to the technical assistants. Once again, I would like to say thank you to all those who have given me the opportunity. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, ma'am. I'm sure that tomorrow's session will be more effective like today's session. A short and brief plan about tomorrow's meeting is criteria 4 and 5 will be handled at morning by the concerned person, and criteria 6 and 7 will be handled at afternoon session, and the meeting will be start at sharply 10 o'clock.
Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to all the organizers of this seminar. Thank you.
Thank you, madam. Thank you so much. We'll come back and get back again. The participants tomorrow at sharp 10 a.m. Thank you.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Madam, the feedback form to be sent today or tomorrow?
Feedback has been shared in the message chat
That
box.
we have to submit today, na?
Yeah, yeah. By
Okay.
5:30 it get closed.
Okay, okay, okay.
Ma'am, good evening, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Ma'am,
Yes, madam.
மேம் நாங்கள் ரெஜிஸ்டர் பண்ணலை, பட் காலையிலேருந்து நாங்கள் செஷனில் அட்டன் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கோம். நாங்கள் ஃபீட்பேக் பண்ணும்போது யூனிக் ஐடின்னு வருது. நாங்கள் எப்படி மேம்?
Hello, madam. Also, the feedback form doesn't get opened for us. It reports some kind of an issue.
It is opening, madam.
Open, ma'am.
Yes, it is open.
Okay.
Ma'am.
Ma'am, one of you asked that you have not registered, but you are attending the workshop through your institution ID. Ma'am, could you hear me?
Ma'am?
Ma'am, you kindly fill up the feedback form. In unique ID, you put 000.
Okay, sir. Okay, thank you.
Ma'am, feedback form not getting, ma'am, the chat box.
You please check your comment box, madam. We have been sharing number of times.
Okay, ma'am.
Thank you.